Hey friends, Kris Krohn here, and got a question from Jake Kennedy asking, how do you get into real estate if you're only 21 years old? You know, I love it when you submit videos to me and ask your questions because it makes it a lot easier for me to get to know you, meet you, and then say, hey, if I were in your shoes, what would I do? So we're gonna hear from Jake Kennedy more about his question and my response.
Hey Kris, my name's Jake. I have a couple questions for you. One, how do you get into the real estate business at 21 years old? I'm 21 and I want to get financially stable.
Jake, you don't want to be financially stable. You want to be financially free. People that want to be financially stable have dead-end jobs that are only making them $300 every 2 weeks.
I'm tired of working these dead-end jobs, getting like $300 every 2 weeks. It's really depressing. It really kind of sucks.
I feel like I got to put my foot in my mouth. I didn't know you were really making $300 every 2 weeks. That is really, yeah, that's depressing.
Trying to make money and do what I want when I want and work from home on my own.
Jake, you want to do what you want, when you want, how you want, with whom you want. Dude, I get it, brother. You know what? That's what drives the passion for freedom. And when life is sucking wind and when you're at a dead-end job that isn't working for you, it's one of the best chapters in your life because who you choose to be in this moment is going to determine ultimately your destiny and where you're going to end up.
I feel like inspired by your videos. I don't know what steps to take. I don't know how to get there, and I'm asking you for help.
I get it, Jake. I'm inspired when I watch my videos and they get me doing more real estate.
I saw your video about seller finance. I would like to know more about what that is and how I can start doing that so I can get into the real estate business like you do.
I get it, Jake. We're going to jump right on in, and I want to answer your question on what is this whole seller financing thing and how can I take advantage of it? So the first thing that I really want you to understand, for those of you that are watching and have the same question that Jake does, is that when you get into the world of real estate, you either say, I got to have the money and I got to have the credit or else I can't do real estate. But it's just not true. The reality is that someone else has the money and someone else has the credit. And here's what seller financing is. Seller financing is, first of all, instead of saying, I'm going to save up my money and I'm going to develop my credit, which are good things to do, and then I'm going to go to the bank and I'm going to buy a house. Well, you're doing that so that you can control a piece of property and understand that putting money up and putting credit up is only one way of doing that. An entirely different way of doing that is going to someone else that already has the mortgage but doesn't really want it anymore. And you can go to those people and you can control that property without going through the technical purchase process. That's what seller financing is. I'm actually in the middle of doing a couple of seller financing deals right now. And basically someone else, and let me give you a very real example. You want to do a deal, Jake, and you want to do these seller financing, what you're going to do is I want you to go look at the for rent ads. And I want you to look for someone that owns a piece of property. They already have a mortgage with the bank. Maybe it's paid off, but they probably have a mortgage. And basically, they're just renting it out because they want to get their cash flow. I'm going to tell you though, there's a percentage of landlords out there that are done being landlords. There's a percentage of landlords out there that are don't wanters or they've been having bad experiences. So here comes Jake along, 21 years old, and he calls them up and you start going through all of these for rent ads, right? And by the way, you don't want to call every for rent ad, Jake. Find out what the market rent is, the price per square foot, and what the rent is per square foot, and find something that is rented lower than it should. If it should be renting for $1,000 and everything else in that exact same size is renting for $1,000 and you find one that's renting for $800, I can already tell you that's an indication that you're dealing with a problem investor. The investor doesn't understand something, they've had a bad experience, they're licking their wounds, they want out, it means something. So you're gonna go through and do that little analysis and it's like, wow, all these 3-bedroom, 2 baths are renting for $800 and this one's renting for $600. Something must be wrong. You're gonna call up those ones and you're gonna say, hey, I'm thinking about renting your house, but I really want to buy. Could I rent from you and in time buy it from you? And a lot of these don't wanters will end up saying what? Yes. Guess what? The stage is set for perfect seller financing deal. Here's what it basically means. Instead of immediately giving them money and credit so you can buy the house, if you're young, you may not be in a position to be able to do that. But what you are in a position to do is say, how about I do it in the future? And based on that, let me get in. So in this example that everything's renting for $800 and you can get it for $600, what you do is you might sit down with them, Jake, and you might say, okay, here's the deal. I want to buy this. I am young. I got a great job, but it's going to take me a little bit of time. So what I want you to do is let's settle up on the purchase price and let's figure out what we're going to rent this for. So they say, well, let's just rent it for $600 a month. You're like, good, that works for me. And then they say, and we want to sell it for $100,000. And you say, great, but I want 5 years to be able to execute on it. which means you don't have to worry about finding a renter for 5 years. And that will be music to some of these people's ears. And then you get a chance to say, yeah, I'll make my payments every single month as I make them on time and all this good things will happen, but give me 5 years, give me some time, keep that low payment of $600. We got a purchase price of $100,000. Well, Jake, here's what you do. I've shown you now, I've told you exactly where you find these deals, and I've told you what to say. The next thing that you will ultimately do is you get a contract put together that says, great, you're giving me 5 years, I'm gonna make my payment of $600 every month, and I have the ability to sublet, which basically is your way of saying, I don't have to live there, I can rent it to somebody else. Now, what are you gonna rent it for? Well, you're gonna rent it for $800 because that's what everyone else is doing. Or you can do my lease option system and you could rent it for $900 or $1,000. Now you're making $400 every single month. Right now, if you're making $300 every 2 weeks of your day job, imagine making $400 every month just on structuring and having put the deal together. Now, if something breaks, you have to work it out and the family that's doing the lease option will pay for it. There is some risk. Be good to have a little bit of cheddar in the bank so that if there's a problem, you can step up and help do something with it. But guess what you just did right here, brother? You structured a seller financing deal. I told you where to find them. You put the paperwork in place, and now you sub-rent it out to somebody else, and you get to make the difference on it. Now, you might have to pay for that first month or that first or second month, or maybe there's a security deposit, so it could be a small investment, but that's gonna get recouped really fast if someone puts $3,000 or $5,000 down, they're paying a higher rent, and in that 5 years, maybe they go to buy it in 2 years. Maybe they buy it for $120,000. Well, you get to make their down payment, you get to make the monthly cash flow, and you also get to make that equity play when you go to sell it. So Jake, these deals are out here. You can find them, you can do that. I hope this was really helpful. For the rest of you that are watching this, and Jake, for you yourself, that are saying, Kris, this sounds amazing, but how do I get more hands-on help? I wanna invite you to check the link in the description below. Contact my team. We've got the contracts, we've got the paperwork. We'll help show you how to do this. Read up on it, talk to my team, and let us hook you up so that we can help you all get out there and start making some real estate happen right now.